Hey guys, we're live, having fun trading crypto. Because we didn't have the quantity show tonight, we just couldn't resist. I had to do it. And I don't know what you're seeing on YouTube or not, but Shane just popped in here, and he was in the members lounge, and he was like, "Totally, man, we got to do our own show." And he even gave the name. He goes, "It's so funny." He goes, "Where is it?" Goes. Oh, yeah, that funny line. Anyway, he goes, "Oh yeah, here. Other titles such as The Broiler Chicken Show also sound appealing." When I saw that, I just started laughing. That's so funny. And I was like, damn, I got to do it. I just got to do it. So here we are. We're broadcasting to the world. I have no clue who's going to turn up. But if you want to talk crypto, and if you got a coin that you're interested in, post it and we'll take a look and we'll give you our 2 cents. I'd love to be able to play some background music or something here because it just seems awfully quiet. Am I allowed to play like just the radio in the background? Will Google shit their pants if I do that? I was a little bummed the other day when I saw that. Hey, so Shane, come off mute. Talk to me, man. You're my co-host. You're my co-host here. And don't tell me you don't have a microphone. On a trading computer. Oh, shitty. I don't know what that means. But if we're going to do this show, Mr. Broiler Chickens, then you got to come on with the audio and you got to talk to the audience. People just don't want to listen to me all night. Wonder if Dab is around. He'd probably love to come in and give us his 2 cents. Who else is here? We got DJ. Hello, DJ. Who are you? Jeez, we got a lot of mutes. Hey, Aaron's here. I think I saw Aaron in class today. Were you in class today or were you on Monday? Mike's always good to say something. Are we microphone challenged this evening? And why is nobody saying anything? Come on, guys. We're broadcasting live to the whole universe here. Somebody help me. Oh, I'm doing. Oh, you're from Kazakhstan, right? What's the link for the public? Are you gonna bail? No way, man. I'm not letting you go now. Let's see. I think I opened it up here. Oh yeah, there it is. You can listen to me babbling onto myself. Hey, well, somebody's here. Who's got the coughs? DJ, are you got a sore throat this evening? We don't know. Odd beginning to a show. I'm sure people, if there is anybody watching this, I'm sure they're like, "Wow, this is." There you go. If you're gonna lose a lawn, maybe it'd be a good idea to put yourself on. Okay, so somebody wanted this link. Here's the link. I'll put it in the lounge, okay? There it is. So pretty. So if you want to bail, go for it. Totally fine by me. Jason says, Brian, I have a quick question. I was fortunate enough to get in on the BAT ICO today. And the token is already trading at 5 times the ICO cost. Should I sell 20% immediately or wait or question mark? Well, I mean, I can give you my opinion. Everybody knows what I think about opinions. It's a tough one. I mean, I don't really know the background of what BAT is. So, if anything, probably Alex is probably a good person to get, sort of his 2 cents on that. We can probably, let's see if Alex is around. Where are we here? Go over here. Now we'll go here. Where's Alex? There he is. Hey, we'll just throw him this link if he feels like popping in, he can. The Broiler Chicken Show. Hey, James. Hey, bud. James, Mr. Long-Winded you never seem to want to shut up. You want to say maybe a sentence or two, please keep it brief, but say hi to the audience. No? There's supposed to be a setup. You're supposed to come off and go, oh,
No.
go for it. All right, I'm just bombing tonight. Anyway, I wasn't meaning to insult you. You know our game. James always comes on. I say, "Oh, he always talks too much," and he says, "I say, well, you're gonna say hello," and he goes, "Hi." But anyway, maybe I'll set him up better next time. I don't think he was expecting that. Anyway, hey, Tom's here from the UK. Hey, bud. Nice to see you, Slick. He's always good for something. You want to say hi to the world here? What are you seeing in the world? Geez, we sure got to talk at a bunch here tonight. Come on, guys. This is a live show. Casey, you always have something on your mind. What's on your mind, Chief? Say something.
If I start talking too much, the kids are going to come over and take over the show.
All right. Well, at least now the world is like, okay, there is somebody else there actually with him. These aren't just little paper images that I put up in front. Wouldn't that be funny? I actually put all these little like stickers of people's pictures and stuff on the screen to make it look like I actually had friends. I'm silly. All right. Hey, does anybody have any comments about the Bitcoin price here tonight? Is anybody shocked to see that we're actually working our way right back up to the top of the range? Hey, there's some people over here. Hey, Kevin, I don't know whether you want it, but I guess there's some people on the YouTube page. I mean, I'm not why, so you're probably saying, why are you telling me? But anyway, there you go. That's not part of the job description. That was just supposed to be for the classes. Anyway, I'm just having fun. You guys are probably all going, that guy, is he a little crazy? Just a little, not too much. Anyway. So, hey, Shane, are you on a computer where you can talk now?
Yep.
Hey. How's the weather down under? You freezing your ass off?
Yeah. It's like, feels like about -20 or something. It should be snowing, but it's not. It's really like about 10 degrees centigrade.
Wow. Well, that's like a summer day in Vancouver.
Yeah, man. You guys are like rock solid over there. We're like used to like walk around in shorts and shirts, and then the second something even shows remotely even cold, it's like, fuck, it's so cold.
Yeah, I used to live down in LA, and it was so funny because in the wintertime, I would fly back. I was at a private school in Canada, and it would be like, minus whatever, snow, shitty. You look out the window, snow everywhere, and ice, blah, just winter, right? And then we'd fly back from school to LA, and you'd literally get off the plane, because I remember we used to always fly into Orange County Airport, John Wayne Airport, big statue of John Wayne outside the airport. And you'd fly into the airport, and it was a smaller airport, right? It wasn't Big Lax. So you'd actually get off the planes and have to walk down the stairs, the out on the runway kind of thing. And you'd literally just walk right out the airplane, and it's like 65, 70 degrees, something like that. Typical sort of California winter day. And of course, coming from like total snow, it's just like you're peeling the jackets off and like just basking in the heat, right? And my mother, she'd always be in the car, and 65, 70 degrees. My sister and I are sitting there, thank God, finally back to some nice weather. And she'd be sitting there in like total winter coat and like scarf and stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, really
like me, dude.
Story. Sorry.
It's freezing, dude. Yeah, it's like that, isn't it? When you're not used to it.
Yeah. So I remember that. So all right.
So these Coinity guys, they're not. That's like the last four times, right? They cancelled. Must be a few by now.
Well, yeah. I mean,
I think so.
they're trying their best. That's all you can say. I mean, really, let's have fun with this show. We don't necessarily need to comment about that. So, but let's have some fun, you know. And what's really cool is we've got such a robust community here. I love doing the daily briefs where we just, you know, we just totally interact. So, you know, we've got a nice little panel here. I do even see people on the YouTube page. There seems to be a chat interface. So if you guys just want to fire symbols at me, you know, just like we would do on the other show, feel free, you know. And we'll just sort of go through the charts. It's interesting to see Bitcoin today. Is management allowed to put in symbols? I don't know whether you're on the inside now, James. Oh, there you go. I'm just kidding. All right, so James was right out of the gate. He wants my 2 cents on ARK. I don't know what the heck we do about ARK. Oh, look at that! So some people are actually even watching on the YouTube page. All right, well, good to see you guys. Hazafel? I'm totally probably butchering your name. Sorry. Spin the wheel. Yeah, where's Alex? I was gonna send Alex an invite. If he wants to pop in here. What was I doing? I was over here. Yeah. What do I need to do? Go over here, and then hey, there's Oscar. Hi, Oscar. Nice to see you, man. Now that's a face I'm very, very happy to see. Nice to see you, man. I miss you, bud. All right, where's Alex? Alex, there he is. All right, so I'll give him this. Just messing around. Yeah. All right. Huh. Yeah, let's see if Alex turns up. All right, so I think you saw a couple other faces pop in here. So who else we got here? Hader. Hello, Hader. I don't know whether I know you or not. And my old buddy Muak. Brian, nice to see you, bud. Yeah, thanks, man. In fact, probably you guys have seen me make references of Muak. Yeah. Hey, and you know what? Your coin finally came awake today. It was so fucking. In fact, I was even mentioning that. Yeah, it finally came awake. So this guy, he's been we, you know, Oscar and I have known each other. In fact, Oscar, you and I probably were interacting through the whole Gox crap and stuff on TradingView, eh? You've known me that long, haven't you? Were you back in that group? Yeah. That's like 2 or 3 revolutions ago for you, right? Sorry. It probably feels like that. That was a bad joke, sorry. Yeah, Oscar and I have known each other for quite a while. Yeah, no doubt, eh? Holy moly. Can you guys imagine, like, Oscar fucking is right in the middle of this whole Venezuelan shit, eh? Oh, poor guy. Shane, you think you got it bad. Holy moly. Talk about balls of steel. Man, this guy, and what's so interesting about Oscar is he's so fucking cool and calm. I remember one time when he was in our education program and I was freaking out about something. I was totally stressed out. And he even goes to me and goes, Brian, you're supposed to be my mentor. You're supposed to be the guy who's level-headed here, not me. Oh, that was so funny. Do you remember that? Oh my God! Yesterday I got tear gas in the speedway. Fuck me. Oh God. So I mean, Oscar is fucking one cool customer. Anyway, nice to see everybody. And I love that about it, like our level 3 program, right? Oscar, do you still get the invites to classes? I love when people just sort of out of the blue over the years we've done this course, they just pop in. Anyway, great to see you, bud. I mean, what do we say about the Bitcoin price? It sure looks to me like this is a rather uppy chart, not a downy chart. We had drawn these reload zones, 61.8, 78.6, and then 61.8, 78.6. And sort of, you know, this is, if anything, what I think is, you know, the old cat ping pong. No, you're not interrupting, man. You want to come off the mute and talk to us? Dude, you got the fucking floor. If you want it. You know, off of this recent peak, I thought it was fascinating how the market literally came down to our 38.2. And who could tell me, what do we call 38.2? Let's actually, I'm going to give a shout out to the YouTube group. Let's see who can answer that the fastest on the YouTube page. What the hell do we call the 38.2? Can you guys see the chart? Oh, maybe I have to click on, you have to click on my picture. And then I have to go like present to all and all this. And see, you know, this is where Will, right? He totally handles all this stuff. It's, you know, it's really easy having Will just, you know, be there to be the backstop. He does a lot of work for those shows. So, you know, fingers crossed they get some extra time to do some more shows in the future. So, but anyway, the point that I just wanted, can you see my screen now? Can everybody see my screen? You know, total textbook here. I mean, this is just absolute textbook. And, you know, whether you do the trade or not. Oh, good try, Joe McDonald. Good try, good try. 38.2, though, is what we call the first stop target. And actually, let's really test the group. I guess a lot of you level oneers probably wouldn't know this answer. I don't know whether we, Oscar, do you remember who do we attribute 38.2 to? Really gnarly son of a bitch trader guy. Remember him? And I'm sure if he ever watches, he'd be like, "Thanks, Brian. Jeez, dick." Anybody remember on the YouTube page? Yeah, very good, Casey. Wow, very good. How did you know that? Damn, good for you. Close. His name is Ray Burchett. You know, he's just another trader guy. He does run an education program. And really the irony of it all, and it, you know, it's really weird is that as sort of the longer and longer I teach these education programs, the more and more that I see that really we actually, in a weird sort of way, the more deeper you get into trading, the less it has to do with these price charts, and the more it has to do with the crap between your ears. And so, yeah, I know. Well, I talked to Hogue back at Christmas, and then I just sort of lost contact with him. I got a funny feeling Top Step is, you know, they're just bumping along. I heard that he had retired, but then I saw that he's back again. He's doing, you've seen a couple, I've retweeted, I tweeted out actually John Bourge-Riel's Top Step interview today. He's another interesting character. Go check out that Twitter feed of mine and that tweet, John Bourge-Riel, Structural Logic, right? Yeah, that's right. Do you remember? In fact, Oscar was one of the only students I was able to take Top Step. Hogue used to do this sort of free class on Friday afternoons, and I used to take students over and introduce them to Hogue. And Oscar actually got to see what a professional pit trader's screen looks like. You weren't impressed with that, Aaron? Is there a reason why I just was muted there? Did I say something? Aaron just doesn't like me tonight. What do we do there? Should we boot Aaron? 2 strikes, 1 more strike, and you're out. Anyway, we were just telling everybody about Oscar. I don't know what happened there. Anyway, Oscar got to meet the famous Hogue. And what's so cool is the longer and longer I work with Volume Profile, on the TradingView platform and use it with crypto, man, it is so powerful. It's just stunning how powerful it is. So, and actually, it was really cool because we're doing horizontal support and resistance with the level 2ers, and we're also getting ready for gap. Volume profile change my trading. Oh, yeah. And it often does, right? Because it makes you look at the market from a very different perspective. So rock on, man. Oh, good. I'm glad not for ill. So, and everybody watching this, Oscar just said volume profile changed his trading. So, yeah, it's just powerful, powerful stuff. And all you level 1ers, that's actually a really bonusy type treat that we get into in level 2. So you got to look forward to that. So, all right. So our Bitcoin chart here, we drew these levels a little while ago. Really, not much has changed. On the daily chart, we got lots of juicy wicks up top, got this juicy tail down below, and I'm kind of thinking, and I actually put, tweet. Well, I didn't tweet it because the Twitter community, they're funny. So sometimes I just don't even bother telling them what I'm thinking. But I had sort of put out messages, especially in our daily briefs and stuff, and I kind of think we're actually in, and it kind of sucks for Bitcoiners, is we're in a trading range, and the trading range is pretty fucking big. It's basically about $2,000, and you can see how top of the range is basically about $3,000, midpoint is about $2,000, and the bottom's $1,000. Thought that was really interesting. This pullback here was basically right to the 50% level. I thought that was fascinating. Here's John Bollinger. Fuck me, that was his buy signal. Remember, he came out on Twitter. I think some of you saw that. Oscar, I seem to remember you had retweeted or something. I don't know. Did you? Maybe you did. Maybe you didn't. Anyway, John Bollinger, he put out a public message getting all bullish on Bitcoin right here. So tell me, fuck me, John. That was one hell of a call, dude. Yeah, well, I mean, and I've known John and him, and he built the Bollinger Bands back when I was a rookie broker back in the early 90s. He was, doing public presentations and stuff. And I met him, but I doubt that he'd remember me, but I met him when he came to Vancouver at a conference I was at, one of our annual mining conferences. He used to always come and speak. That's a million years ago. And actually, you know what? I'm working on a module of volatility indicators, how to use volatility indicators. So maybe that's something I'll give my alumni just as a nice treat. I'll send that along to you guys. Keltner channels, using the ATR, and of course, comment on Bollinger. Well, did somebody either like that or didn't like that? That was very odd. Who was that? DJ? DJ seems to be the only person to have a microphone on. So anyway, maybe a good idea to throw your mute on. Maybe Aaron took your mute off. I don't know. Anyway, so lower time frame, you saw that we had that reload zone down in here. And gee whiz, big old tail right in there. And those are all previous highs, so horizontal support and resistance. This should be an interesting battle level in here. And I got a funny feeling that, we're going to be bouncing around here for a while. Thought it was interesting, you can kind of see the empire. It's sloppy, but you can kind of see, especially with this funny doji day there. So, if we do accept above here, and it pretty much looks like we are, and I got a funny feeling we're heading right back up top here. And it was interesting, too. Oh, what the hell is his name? Spencer. Spencer is turned into one damn sharp trader. Spencer the other fucking day totally called this top on crude. I was so proud of him. He totally fucking nailed that 78.6. And look at what they did. They didn't even really even give traders the opportunity to get short, right? Move to new high, move to new high. So there really wasn't any structure to get short. So in my eyes, I think that was a totally manufactured trade. And they just fucking dumped her, eh? They just froze the public out. But Spencer totally took profits on his longs right in there. So proud of him. Turned into one hell of a trader. And the reason why I mentioned that was because he actually took a look, and I thought this was really cool. Let's see if we can do this. What the hell's going to happen if I hit that button? I don't think I want to do that button there. This is the new monthly bar here. Are you guys aware of that? New monthly bar just printed. If we go back in time, you know, we often see that we get these tops that are put in through new monthly bars. And Spencer put this chart out, and I thought I was just so impressed with him. Man, he's so smart. So, you know, the old high from 2013, right? It was monster big candle up and then open bar, right? You can see that they even explored into that wick a bit and then dump a room. So here we are, brand new candle. Here's that wick. It's not totally the same, but similar. Let's watch how we act up in here, right? And then, of course, if we lose this pivot and this bar goes red, oh boy. Does that make sense, guys? Oh boy, does oh boy make sense? And the interesting thing is you can see there is just no low to this bar yet. Can you see that? You see how there's just no tail here? So it means that, you know, we're exploring up, right? And if we fail and we lose this level, this is all open air here. Have I freaked everybody out? Right? And the irony of it all is, you know, that's basically, you know, opened up and up a little higher and then whoosh, all the way almost right back down to the original breakout. So where the fuck is the original breakout? Is it this level? I don't know. But in essence, this is all open air, so be careful, bulls. I do like the fact that we're diversifying, and if anything, you know, a lot of altcoins look really, really interesting in here. So I'm very Bitcoin rich right now. I think I'm probably going to be doing a lot of shopping in altcoin land over the next week or two. So speaking of which, why don't we pop on over, take a look at a few altcoins. What's the best way to do this, I wonder? I suppose we'll use Coinigy. Why not? Douche. Douche. Boosh. I wonder what this looks like. A fun look at trading and building crypto wealth with TRI and site members. Oh, it's not bad. The Broiler Chicken Show. That's hilarious. Oh, that's so funny. I bet you there's a lot of guys in the broiler chicken industry that are absolutely insulted right now. Lawsuit, lawsuit. Well, you guys are a quiet group in here. James is the only one posting, and Oscar. Hey, Shane, what's on your mind, man? What's going on? What's the weather like? Are you freezing your ass off down there? Nothing? Oh, jeez. I probably left. It warm. Oh no, oh, did I say James? I meant Shane. I thought I said Shane. Oh man, I'm going crazy. Anyway, Shane, what's the weather like down there? You freezing your ass off still? Casey, you had that conversation already. Yeah, you can't go back there. That's good. Hey, well, I'm trying to, this is the filler, right? That Alex and Will and stuff. Somebody's got to say something here. All right, so we got Decred on the screen. Actually, Decred's interesting because I think there might be a nice potential bullish bot setting up. Little concerned that the volume interest is trailing off here. But, you know, traders got to trade. So, I mean, if this is in your setup, we never did get this divergence here to confirm. Actually, it's not even a divergence either, is it? A little bit of a divergence right in there. You can see that little bad boy there. That probably set up beautiful little trades. And did you get a double off here? I don't know. Let's see. 0.0094, 0.016, so not quite. So really testing the resolve, I suppose, you know, and I even mentioned this just a moment ago. Looks like a kind of a bullish bot here. Something like that. And I don't know whether I want to measure it off of there or I want to measure it off of there. I suppose we can be conservative. And really, you know, trading all, you know, hopefully what you guys see is, you know, have you guys ever heard the expression, oh, he's back now? Oh, so I was talking to you for a while, Shane, and I didn't even realize you weren't here. Hey, there's Alex Sturck. How's it going, Slick? Man, you got your microphone muted. There you go.
How's that?
Hey, great. Nice to see you, bud.
Oh my God, this room is so full. It's like 20
yeah, I know.
Well,
please don't be intimidated. I just like to open these up and just have everybody pile in. So, yeah, a lot of site peeps, but you probably recognize a few of these people, I hope.
Yeah, I see some familiar names.
Yeah, so how's things going over in Ubic land? I see that thing just keeps churning higher.
Oh, yeah, we broke some new all-time highs today. Yeah, like 32 million market cap. We might hit $1 by the end of the by the end of the week. So we'll see. I don't know. It's definitely catching me off guard. I don't even know how to process it. Like, we're not even sure where it's coming from, but May has been a really good month, like ridiculously good across the board.
Yeah. It certainly can. Yeah, I mean, these accounts have just gone ridiculous, eh?
Oh,
But
yeah.
you know, on balance, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people that came to this conference, especially in Vancouver, they probably left that conference and said, you know what, we better go buy a little bit of that guy. You know,
I got a call today about it, actually. Well, I got a message on LinkedIn today from some guy who's like, Alex, I want to invest in UBEC, and here's my number. So I just called him like right away. But he was saying we want to invest in 10 blockchain companies. Do you guys need funding? Like, do you need money? I'm like, it was definitely catching me off guard. But he seemed like he was in a rush. It was like the end of the day. He was like, yeah, no, I gotta find 10 projects to invest in quickly. Like, his boss just slammed something on his desk. So I might be coming to Vancouver next week to finalize it. We'll see. I'm trying to find out more about him first.
Good for you. Good. And they're going to be investing in your equity.
Yeah, he wants to invest in the company side of it. I asked him, like, do you want the currency or do you want the company? It's like, yeah. Like, we want to invest in the stock of the company. I'm like, okay. So
they probably don't even understand that they could buy actually the infrastructure. They don't even understand that, and they never will.
Oh, it's something else. But I'm also I got some consulting work now in Toronto too. There's a hedge fund that wants to invest, so they're looking for someone to give them a little intel, like some basics, even just like an hour presentation of like, hey, here's some shit you should probably know. Like, avoid these. Look at these pretty seriously. Here's how this works. I don't know. There's definitely like a huge knowledge gap. Like, it's nothing like the traditional system, and they don't know how to process it. But yeah.
I think they know how to process it, and it's one key. It's the buy button.
Yeah. No, it's pretty funny. But yeah, no, I was in Toronto for a couple of days and I went camping, so I'm covered in bug bites right now.
Oh, that's why the lights are off?
Yeah, you guys don't want to see me right now.
Yeah, in Northern Ontario, oh my God, I remember that in the late spring, because I used to work up in Georgian Bay. Oh my God, the black flies. Oh my God. That's a
Yeah, like
nice.
my hand. I don't know if you can see it on my hand. I got a couple like decent sized bites and scars. I don't know. It was
It's just evil, isn't it?
yeah, like you couldn't sit there for like more than 30 seconds without having to like swat them away. But
And they're
it was,
and you know, for anybody who doesn't know, black flies, they're just and the bites is like literally they are taking a bite of your arm off. It's just they're awful. And then they have these things called horse flies, which are even worse. So Northern
yeah.
Ontario in the spring, and I suppose Quebec, all that, the Canadian Shield. Oh my God! Oh God! Don't even get me started. So poor guy. Go get some Noxzema. But you know, you can see as anybody can see the chart. I don't think Alex is crying the blues too much right now.
I'm having a grand old time.
Awesome. Way to go, man. But
Yeah,
the irony of it all is that you can't take profits, can you? You got to stay long.
No, like, I mean, I can sell a little bit off. I'm actually, from tomorrow on, I'm going to be fully self-employed. So now I actually got to like
no more auto plant.
No more auto plant. Yeah, some interesting things went down, and now I'm doing some contract work, engineering work. That's only like a couple hours a week. But it's not through GM anymore. I'm doing like some stuff for Tesla, so working on Model 3 stuff. But I only have to do like 2 days a week maybe. They're really easy going. They're like, yeah, just come in and help out where you can. Like,
oh, life's tough, eh? Fuck.
I'm just trying to keep my schedule full.
I suppose, and you know, the funny thing is for everybody. I mean, Alex was totally selfless. His family needed him. This time last year, he was running around on what was that Massey tractor that he had that was like 30, 40 years old, trying to keep the farm going for the family. So if anybody deserves success, it's Alex. But, you know, so hats off to you. I'm so proud of you. Way to go. You're the man. I actually had somebody today, and this is, I wanted to specifically ask you, because I'm too stupid about this stuff. But somebody asked me today, what's the difference between Ethereum and Lisk?
They're very similar, I guess.
Is Lisk written in JavaScript or something like that?
No, like okay, so you do smart contracts on both platforms, as far as I know. The one is done in a more traditional language, whereas Ethereum built their own language from scratch. So like there was a lot more initial investment to like develop the platform, but like I don't know, a lot of people are pretty happy with Lisk. You know what's crazy? If you pull up a Shift, it's a fork of Lisk. So it's like, you know, Lisk has their own like Ubic, you can almost say, and it's doing really well. It's like literally the exact same chart as Ubic. Like I'm pretty sure it's the same market maker buying into both their coins. But yeah, I think there's just like a lot of people who want to build more applications. Like if you look at Bitcoin and a lot of traditional cryptocurrencies, the only thing they're meant to do is keep track of their own coins. Whereas these platforms, like not only can you track your own coin, you can create other coins very easily. And like it's more of like a platform or an application deal. So yeah, you could do not only like variable storage, like storing one number, you're actually doing like computation on it. Like you can do calculations. So, and there's many ways to approach that problem. Lisk obviously got a fair bit of money. I think they got like $15 million or something in their ICO. Ethereum got 20, and you know what? The difference I think being is the size of the teams. Like Lisk isn't even accessing any of those funds yet from that ICO, so they still have like they have still more money than what their market cap was for a long time, and I think that's why a lot of people are like hopeful for it. It's like, how could it not be worth more than their holdings? Okay, and this is just like what we're dealing with. Is like there's no we're breaking new paradigms. We don't know really why the currency should be worth less than the company. If that makes any sense.
Yeah. Well, but that sort of brings up this whole sort of these assets are heavily manipulated, right? And they trade a lot on just simple psychology. I suppose one could argue that if the market ever caught up, then we should see a massive revaluation higher. Is that what you're basically saying?
I don't know. It's just there's definitely overvaluations going on. Maybe Brian, this is something that you can elaborate more on, but this feels a lot like what the .com boom was. People don't even know what they're buying. It's all overpriced. None of it's really based in any reality because it is such a new industry.
So I'm sorry. Just a moment ago, I thought I heard you say that these coins are trading at less their intrinsic value, but you're saying they're trading at substantially more than their intrinsic value?
Some of them are. Some of them, like the companies. I don't know. It's tough to say. Like something like Lisk is definitely undervalued, but at the same time, you look at who's behind it. This guy Max Corbin, it's a fucking IT for a bike shop. Like he's not some I don't know savant. Like he's not like a social. Well, I mean, I don't really know him personally, but I'm saying he doesn't really fit the bill of like $1 billion company. So it's just like, where's the talent behind this team? You need to have maybe not a Vitalik, but you need to have like the Gavin Woods, like the people that you don't really hear about that often. Like there's a lot of Bitcoin core developers people know nothing about, but they're doing a lot of good work. So it's kind of funny.
Actually, it's interesting that you mentioned that point, because I actually had a conversation with someone today who is building a little fundamental screener based on sort of our education, his homework. And actually he ranked Bitcoin's development core actually really poorly, like at almost like the bottom of the scale. And I was like, wow, you really don't think much of the Bitcoin core group? And he's like, no. That surprised me personally. That actually kind of surprised me. I suppose that's probably a lot of people have been influenced by this whole sort of Bitcoin civil war kind of stuff going on, eh?
Yeah.
In fact, that's a good question for you. Do you see a potential or any kind of sort of similarities within sort of the Ethereum ecosystem like you're seeing within the Bitcoin ecosystem? Does that make sense, the question?
Yeah, like I think the reason why you don't have like, okay, so even with UBEC, there's no such thing really as like an Ethereum maximalist. Even with the whole Ethereum Classic thing, like they just understand that people have different points of view. But I think the difference being is there's a foundation for Ethereum where like there was a Bitcoin foundation and it imploded because there was no leadership. Nobody wanted to run the something they didn't create, take the the risk on. So it was like a leaderless movement, and in that way, like they don't really have like a core ideology or they don't have like an
interesting, because Satoshi and just sort of left almost like a little black hole there, right?
And I think that was by design too. It's just like no one really has the right to say anything or how this thing should be run. So like they maybe knew that even before creating it. Like even like Litecoin creator Charlie Lee, he doesn't like to associate with the project anymore, but he still is like commentates on it. People still take his opinion as what the general movement of the currency should do. But yeah, he doesn't feel that he should be running it. Like he does, like it's an autonomous. It's an autonomous network. It doesn't need to have a company. It doesn't need to have a president. Like
that's so cool. These are almost going to become like little organisms unto themselves, living in this ethereal internet cloud thing.
Well, that's a really good point too, because it's like there are evolutions. Like when you hard fork a network, it's kind of like a reincarnation. Like the old network dies, like Jumbucks died, and then it was reincarnated as UBIC. And then you can have even like splits, like forks. You have Ethereum split into two different organisms. What is that, like mitosis or something? Like it is very similar to, like, life. You have these life forms that exist online. They have like a heartbeat, which is blocks. As long as there's blocks coming, like the system is alive. And there could be even like little cancerous elements, and like maybe it'd be better if the network did fork off. Shane's talking here about Bitcoin Unlimited. Like maybe Unlimited is like a cancer that needs to separate from Bitcoin, and then it would actually get to be a little more like a healthier community and mindset, because it needs to expel some of those. That's the funny thing, is like, as much as people like maybe hate someone like Roger Ver or a certain person in Bitcoin, there's no getting rid of them. There's no one to say you're not allowed to play in our sandbox. Like that's the truly permissionless system, and you can't kick anyone off of it. You can't forbid them from using Bitcoin or any of these other currencies.
Actually, that was a beautiful little soliloquy there, sir. Very well said. But it actually brings up another thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about, and that's I think the U.S. Senate actually believes that they can somehow control the movement of Bitcoin across borders. I thought that was really interesting, and I think what they might do is they'll try and legislate so that U.S. citizens must register their Bitcoins or whatever, which I thought was really interesting today. And I wouldn't be surprised if there is some kind of movement following this fear cycle peak. I don't know whether you guys saw that piece, but I retweeted it out because it seemed pretty important to me. That one line, they said that they'd like to try and control the movement of these cryptocurrencies across national borders. I was really surprised by that. I really don't even think that's possible. But anyway.
So, Brian, what do you think about this news with Japan regulating it as a currency?
Well, and I did see, I think one of the major Japanese retailers is literally going to be rolling Bitcoin out as a payment system here big time soon. I don't know whether it really makes sense, though, with Bitcoin. With all this transaction backlog, is that going to even be feasible?
Yeah, like what I'm seeing now is the Asian session. It's really active in a lot of altcoins, like particularly something like Ripple. You can see the volume bots start turning on. The banks start buying Ripple or and other currencies during their like business hours, their banking hours. So there's definitely like more official investment in the space, not just in Bitcoin, but I think Bitcoin is a large driver of it. Brian Kelly had a really good piece on that on his show the other day, where like it was the most important chart to look at, which was the Chinese. He looked at the yen, the yuan, and also the Bitcoin price, and you can see just like a correlation between the Japanese yen going down, like devaluation, and the price of Bitcoin going up. So I think there's definitely like capital investment going on, like to a serious degree, even just as a store of value, because I think like Japan in a lot of ways is kind of ahead of the ball with it's called what's it? Deflation. Yeah, deflation. Totally had a brain fart. So like their currency is more deflationary, whereas a lot of other government currencies probably should be deflationary. Like there's there's too much money being pumped into the system, so I think they're kind of a lot of ways they're like 1 or 2 generations ahead of the rest of the world, even dealing with things like aging and stuff.
Yeah, well, demographically they're a good 10-20 years ahead of us. The irony of it all is, if we want to know what our future's going to look like, we just simply see what they went through over the past 10, 20 years. And I think you're right. They're kind of on the other side of that. I also actually too like the idea that Bitcoin does sort of represent a way out of this devaluation sort of nightmare. And if you feel like your currency has been fully devalued and you're done, and you want to sort of reset the clock, I think actually Bitcoin's not a bad way to do that because, you know, the supply is fixed. I also think too that didn't you find it kind of coincidental that the Carpellis character was back on the scene last week? Like, did you see that news about him? They can settle up the Gawk suits if Bitcoin is trading at like, I think it's like $2,500 or something like that a coin. And literally, as soon as that news hit, fucking Bitcoin just went straight down. We have one site member who put that out, and literally within an hour of that news, the price was starting to head down. I was shocked. Did you see anything about Carpellis back on the scene?
Well, I saw someone having lunch with him maybe like a month ago when he was recently out. So I think it'll be kind of interesting. Like that news must have happened while I was in the bush. Then I didn't hear it. I was unplugged for like 4 days, so my seeing eye was closed.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I don't think you missed a hell of a lot. I mean, basically, the market's just consolidating after that crazy move out. Did you? So that's cool. Any of you guys got any? Shane, you must have something to say. Tell us what's on your mind, bud. Yeah, come off the mic and say hi to Alex. He won't bite. Shane is a very proactive student in the Level 1 program this term, and been very impressed with his interactions. So what's on your mind, Shane?
Hey, Alex. How are you?
Oh, doing well, Shane. Nice to meet you.
Cool. Hey, I haven't gone into too much of the fundamentals yet for your coin. Can you just give us a quick rundown on what it's about? Or more like, why did you start it in the first place?
So I didn't really start Ubic, well, I mean, I started Ubic, but I didn't start the currency before Jumbucks, which is like 3 years old now. That was started from like a chat room back in 2014, 2015. So like if Bitcoin started with an email list, Ubic started as a chat room, like an IRC chat. And it was only recently, like when I became, I guess, a little more, I don't know, part of the team. Like I actually took more of a leadership role. Like, come on, guys, like the most we've done is built a tip bot that gets used a fair bit in Slack. Like what more can we do? We're not going to just be a currency. So we talk a lot about like Ethereum, the functionality, how other coins and stuff are going to integrate with it. And we saw there were a couple Ethereum altcoins, but they were all very poorly done, and a lot of them actually got attacked around the same time we started our testnet. So we did a testnet for like 6 months. We kind of built in some new features for our like Ethereum altcoin to run at a lower hash rate and be secure, because that was the main problem. They were just running like the stock Ethereum code. So we kind of improved upon Ethereum. So if you wanted to make your own Ethereum altcoin, you would actually probably fork Ubic, because it will run a lot better. So we actually made some meaningful improvements to it. So we're like the first, I think, true Ethereum altcoin. And we're also the only Ethereum like EVM, like smart contract capable platform that has a monetary policy. Like you can't find out how much Ethereum there's going to be in 5 years because they're still messing around with that. We kind of set, we're, currency, this is our long-term plan. We're going to be proof of work essentially indefinitely. But we're also looking at Ethereum as kind of an R&D pool. Like they're definitely pushing the protocol further, but that kind of allows a lot of risk. So now we're kind of like more stable option. We're only porting over stuff that's been proven. It's kind of useful. So we're kind of like I don't know, another version of Linux, and Ethereum is the Linux Foundation or whatever. It's where all the innovation happens, but people will be running multiple versions of Linux. Like, it's just kind of I don't know. I could rant all day about it.
I use Fedora at the moment. There's a lot of the blockchain sort of developing now into the more or less like smart chain, right? Like Ethereum, like smart contracts all coming in and stuff. And I'm seeing a lot of coins attempting to now try and do things like run insurance on top of it, weed out all the insurance companies and stuff like that. Do you think that kind of thing's going to catch on much?
Yeah, and I think this is where like smart contracts kind of are very useful, because you can lock up value, have a couple conditions for it to be unlocked, and you can kind of prove that all those conditions are the only thing that can happen to it. Or like if you want to do it on Bitcoin, you kind of need like a Rube Goldberg machine. It's just like you got to have this trigger like on a server somewhere. Whereas on Ethereum or like on the EVM, it's just all self-contained. Like you know it's going to happen, because it's the same thing that backs the transactions is the same thing backing the action. So yeah, being able to lock up value, like we're even looking now at tokenizing mortgages, so we can kind of maybe help with this Canadian real estate problem we're having by allowing portions of mortgages to be for sale rather than a Chinese investor buying 10 houses or one house. You can buy 10% of 10. And that's stuff that's far more possible with smart contracts, because you can set conditions. You can say there's a whitelist, or there needs to be like multi-sig approvals. Like there's a lot more you can do, a lot more easily, and a lot more cost effective using like these smart contract platforms.
So
it's going to be really interesting.
What's preventing you from like being worth more than Ethereum?
I'd say Ethereum is where the innovation happens. Like as long as they're innovating, we have like a source, like we have an R&D department where I can see us easily being worth more than Ethereum Classic, because we have a lot of the same resources. We actually today we were just realizing we can have a much broader infrastructure than Ethereum Classic. So to mine Ethereum or Ethereum Classic or Ubiq, you need to have a graphics card, which is kind of like this thing about the size of a VHS tape inside the computer that renders all the computer games that can do complex calculations. Just like really useful equipment. So it has a memory size on it. And 2 gigabytes is a pretty standard denomination of memory. Ethereum Classic just grew past that 2 gigabyte limit. So now only 4 gigabyte and 8 gigabyte cards can mine it. So now we have much more of those resources available to us. And if you're, have a mining farm with these 2 gigabyte cards, you should probably be looking at what else to mine right now, because now you can't mine Ethereum, you can't mine Ethereum Classic. You can maybe mine like Zcash or something different, or you can be mining an Ethereum clone like Ubiq.
What a sales pitch! Wow, way to go!
The product sells itself. I'm just pointing it out.
But see, that's it, right? Is a good product sells itself. Well said. Well said. So, thank you, Shane. That was awesome questioning. I don't know whether we want to keep Alex under the microscope as much as we are here. I apologize for putting you on the spot here.
Hey,
but
Brian,
hats off to your project. You're doing so well, and I'm so proud of you. So way to go.
Thanks, Brian. Do you think I can get your opinion on a chart?
Sure, for whatever that's worth.
All right. First, what
do you want to look at?
I was looking at a counterparty, XCP. Right. Yeah.
Let's see what we got. Well, it's not a bad looking chart. Money's pouring in here. That's interesting.
Yeah, volume's breaking out at all-time highs. Like all you're hearing about is kind of like bad news. Like different coins are like everyone wants to build a token on Ethereum right now, but you can actually do it on Bitcoin. It's just right now the future for counterparty is a little uncertain because of SegWit. Like if SegWit doesn't get approved, then counterparty can't build out more functionality. And if we don't solve the scaling problem, counterparty transactions are actually more expensive than Bitcoin transactions because it's like Bitcoin but with more data. So
yeah, I mean, structurally it makes sense that this is the bottom end of the range and dips into this range, I think, are buying opportunities. You can really see that the market is humming and hawing here, right? So the interesting thing is these guys will probably know whether SegWit's going to be approved before any of us do, right? That's usually how the markets work. You can see it's coming to a head here, right? I mean, no doubt about it.
Look at one of the older markets. Look at BTR or BTR.
This guy's here?
Yeah. Chinese market too.
Yeah. Actually, this is a really good analogy of gaps, and this is a weekly price chart, right? So at some point, this price gap needed to be addressed. So what a great learning piece there. So just this one bar, boom, comes down in and basically cleans up that problem there. I don't know whether that's been filled in or not. It's awfully close. But you can see the original bottom down here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, the smart money, the real bottom fisher guys, they're all long from this level. That was one hell of an opportunity right in there. Another little stab against that level, so you can clearly see that when this thing comes into that level, it sure meets a lot of buying interest, eh? It's almost like a hot stove. Woo, get me out of there. Woo, get me out of there. Right? And isn't that interesting? That's where it stopped again. Now
So right now,
you know, they left a big tail here. I wouldn't be surprised if it has to come back. But you can clearly see that's the level. And the interesting thing is you'd have a double off by now off of that level, eh? So all the guys the smart money who bought this level, they're sitting on free positions now, and they just keep reloading, eh? Boom, free position. Okay, let's take our original capital, throw it back in. Boom, free position, right? Oh, this one we're gonna shill it a little bit more, then right back down to the bottom. Then put your original capital to work. Boom, free position. Put your original money back to work. Boom, free position. And do it again. Yeah, they must have built up about at least a half a dozen free positions there. What jerks. Actually, that's a great testament to a trader's life, right? So, I mean, I can understand technically why people would be buyers down in this area here. Work your stink bids against this level. See if you can participate again. What are you showing us here? BTC, ETC, 60 minutes on Polo. Who's showing me? Alex, this is you.
Yeah. No, I got a short open on Ethereum Classic, actually, because one of the projects that existed, like the ICOs, existed before the fork. All of the Ethereum that they were paid was then forked into Ethereum and Ethereum Classic. And now they're actually giving all that Ethereum Classic to the people who still own their tokens on the, like they're giving it to their token holders. They're like, hey, yeah, you know, we got this extra asset. You guys are part of the DAO that we have. So you guys deserve to have these assets. So they're distributing it, and it should be going out in the next like hour or two. So I'm hoping that it breaks down.
Yeah, you might get a nice little treat here, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure where to close on it yet, but like, well, I don't know. I want to see it start moving before I go to bed here. But this is what's tough, is trying to find a nice close position, or like where's the proper retrace, or
well,
I'm trying to say, yeah, like where should my exit be? I know sell half on a double is pretty easy, but when you're doing a short, it's just kind of like, oh yeah, just even down in this area here. Which would be a pretty significant breakdown if it managed to retrace that full distance.
That's an hourly chart, eh?
Yeah, I don't know. I can look at dailies too. It's already pretty overrun.
Well, I mean, I can give you my 2 cents if you want it, but you know.
I would love your 2 cents, Brian, because it's probably worth more than that.
Oh, thanks, man. What market do you like to study? Cryptopia?
Let's go on.
Is that where you trade? Cryptopia?
No, fuck no, I don't trade them. Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm being silly. Where is this? Is it on Polo?
Yeah, Polo. Polo is the only reason Ethereum Classic exists.
Well, that's interesting. Ah,
Oh,
look at that. Isn't
Like-
that interesting? So off of the entire range, it's just sort of sitting up in probably a very normal shorting location, eh? You know, short-term support. 13 EMA, can you see this, Alex? Do you see how the market just loves to come back to it? In fact, actually, guys, he did. I gave it to him for free, and he left halfway through, Shane. That's why I tell all of you guys, I never give this away for free because people only value the information based on what they have to pay for it.
yeah.
So I learned a hard lesson why not to give this away for free from people like Alex. But that's a whole other conversation.
I just wanted to get to know you better, Brian, so I wanted to see what you were selling.
All right, there you go. See, he didn't want to learn how to trade at all.
Oh, I
I'm
tell
just
people
kidding.
all the time.
I'm just kidding.
Tell people all the time what value to bring for the course, and yeah, I still go back to a lot of the core lessons that you taught there because
Well, that's good. That's awesome.
I refined my trading skills a lot from doing your course, Brian. I had no I don't know foundation when I kind of learned, and yeah, the foundation that you teach in your level 1 is bar none the best I've seen around.
Oh, thanks, man. All right, so we were even talking about this in our daily briefs today. 13 EMA works really, really well as sort of a check. So, you know, if you want to keep a weekly chart up and look for support levels, it's sitting right now here at, 0.0041, right? That's probably a number you should keep an eye on. If we go down to the dailies, you can see how 13 EMA acted as a check there. You can see the check there. And this is really cool. Let's see if anybody in our community knows this. What pattern is this 2-bar pattern here? Does that look familiar to anybody? Oh, right on, Shane. And I got to tell you, fucking Shane is just like Captain. He's going to know the whole fucking market by the time this level 1's over, I swear. This guy's so smart. So he's already picked up. Beautiful example of railroad tracks. And actually, this probably will actually be a sell signal on a break of that low. So it sure as hell looks to me like that's, I don't know whether that's actually broken. Wow, look at that. Look how they took the market right down, Alex. Can you see how they took the market right down to that level and said, oh, not so fast. Do you see that? It's incredible how powerful this shit is. So there's your level to watch in earnest. And, you know, quick stabs, there's 13 EMA. My hunch is this probably goes back and forth a bit. It might break that level and fire the signal, I don't know, but I think you're probably going to see a little bit of short-term support there. 30-period SMA is sitting about where that 13-period EMA on the weeklies are. And really what that is just a revisit of this trading range, right? And you can see, you know, all my level 2ers, they just did horizontal support and resistance. So it's so cool they like trick out their charts. I talked to one guy today, he did a gold chart, and it was so cool. Did any of you guys see that gold chart in the lounge that Sebastian? Sebastian, are you here? I had a tutorial with him today. But Sebastian put together a gold matrix chart. Man, so cool. Anyway, can you kind of see how we sort of have trading ranges established here, Alex? It looks to me like, you know, probably something along these lines. There's a traffic zone in there. There's a traffic zone here. And, you know, these are railroad tracks. I don't know whether we can get back up to that wick. My hunch is if this railroad tracks confirms, that's going to be a brick wall right up there. And really, you know, you said this is going to happen in like an hour or something like that, right?
Yeah,
So,
I think so.
Yeah, if that pushes that over, then, you know, she's, you know, bear takes over. Wicks and tails like to be eaten. Look at that big old tail there, right? I could very easily see us come back into this level. Now, you know, if you look at the daily chart, like, you know, if I was considering buying, where should I start? And I warned a lot of people about this weeks ago, and tried to impart it onto, you know, our community. I really wouldn't be surprised, Alex, if we actually see new lows on a lot of these names before this is done. I mean, I don't know whether it happens on this one in particular, but I see a lot of these coins are just, you know, and you can almost feel the traps are being laid right now. So, you know, if the irony of it all is, for my gang, we can't even think about really buying this thing until it gets back down into here, right? And really, I would argue that the original bottom is here. So, you know, this might be a trade, Alex, if you have the balls, right? This might be a trade that might buy you another one of your little minivans or those little trucks that you like to drive around. I mean, you see what the 200 period moving average is? Right? You see that there?
Oh yeah, it's
You know, it's not out of the question for this thing to work its way back down into this area. I don't know what kind of margin interest they charge. It really drives me nuts watching those numbers on a daily basis and all that crap. And, you know, is this going to be a straight line? 38.2, 13 EMA. I wouldn't be surprised if we get some play into here. And then off the lower time frames, we work our way back up. But frankly speaking, I don't see any reason. And, you know, anybody that's part of my community that wanted to buy into ETC, you know, really, this is the area where we go shopping. And until we work our way back down in there, I would just say cool your jets. We'll see what happens. Tough to say. Short term, 38.2, 13 EMA. This tail, these highs and lows, that would probably be a realistic target. So if we drill down, right, there's the hourly. You can see the 200 period moving average. This is what I like to call a moving average sandwich. So you'll know that do you see, Alex, how you've got basically this is resistance right here, this is support. You can see it's coming together. So it's almost like hitting an apex right on your event. Eh?
Oh yeah.
Isn't that interesting? How it's incredible how charts align to these fundamental events. Eh? That's freaky, eh?
Yeah, I've even noticed it with something like Ubic, where it's like a lot of the news. Not only do I know about it, but I'm like, sometimes I'm the one releasing like a quarterly report, like I did the other day, and it kind of coincides weirdly with what the market is already doing. Like,
yeah.
I don't know who's buying into a lot of this, but at the same time, it's like, how do they? Well, the other thing too was the conferences. There's a lot of marketed events or market events around the conferences, and maybe that was someone watching the Coinergy show is getting the best info from me right then. Like, they then think, oh, maybe I'll paint the chart like I want to be buying all the way up to that date, and then I'll start a little sell-off after that.
Yeah, totally.
So
Buy the room, sell the news, forward discounting mechanism. You guys probably have heard that before. So, you know, our levels that we were looking at off these horizontal lines, you can sort of see them lining up here. Do you see these gaps right in here, Alex, right there? And this is actually what jumped out at me earlier. Sure wish you had done the level 2 with me and done volume profile and gaps and stuff. But anyway, maybe one day we'll get you to do that. The point here is that, can you see how there's a bunch of unfinished business here, right? There's a gap right there. There's a gap right there. There's a gap right there, right? See all that? These all now, if this thing does break, these all now actually become like huge magnets. So, you know, and what was cool is I was looking at your chart, and I don't even know whether you realize, but the 61.8 to 78.6 lined up perfectly with these price caps. You know, so if you're going to be working your bids to take profits, these are the levels that you want to work your bids off of, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe try and buy back in chunks, right? Buy a little bit, buy a little bit. And if you get a spike right back up into your original short, maybe let them have some more. And then as we come in, because what will probably happen here, right, is going to be like a stab, stab, stab kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Remember we saw that on IOC, Remember the way that they worked it down to fill in those price gaps? Same
Yeah.
thing. That's
Yeah,
sort of
no,
what I probably would expect to happen here. Right? So does that kind of help you at all? I don't know. Hopefully it does. No? All right.
Oh yeah, no, you
Take it for
definitely helped me
whatever
out,
it's
Brian.
right?
Because right now I'm just like I'm on BitMax, but it's just some pocket change that I left there, and I got some referrals. Like there's so many new people joining the space. A couple of my old referrals, I checked up on them, and I got like a decent amount of Bitcoin now. Enough that I opened a trade for this ETC thing. I'm like, oh, I wonder if I have any coins left here. I'm like, oh, I'll buy a couple contracts, and I don't know. I shorted it at a really high margin, and looks like it's going all right. We'll see if one of those bounces goes high enough, because this is kind of one of those all or nothing trades. I don't know. It's not a lot of money. I gotta wait.
If anything, that's a really good testament, right? Is they always say don't ever bring money to the market that you can't afford to lose. You saw an opportunity, right? I think you sort of identified your edges. You have a really great take on fundamentals in this space. So you can, sort of see potential supply hitting the market, which is fantastic. And then we look at the price chart, and, Frank, I don't know whether you got short, but I think I saw a reload zone sort of trade location up here. Something like, that's actually where the railroad tracks occurred right there. See that? Boom, 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 right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know whether you did get short up in this area, but that's sort of the area I'd love to hear that you hit this thing.
Yeah.
And what I just heard from you was, this is play money. If it works, great. If it doesn't, it's not the end of the world. But I'm taking a pretty good shot here. I got a pretty good edge. I love that. Fantastic.
Yeah, because like it's still within my like 5% maximum risk. It's just my stop loss is getting liquidated.
And really that's okay. If anything, that in a weird sort of way, that actually makes it really easy. Because then you just simply say, if the trade's liquidated, well then, it didn't work. So
Exactly.
if anything, I actually kind of like that. And I've tried to do that with a few of my trades on NEX and OKCoin forwards. There were just basically, if it's called away from me, well, just means setup failed.
Yeah, well, and that's just it. You risk, one coin at 10 times margin, or do you short at parallel and have a stop loss? It's the same thing. Like if you short 1-to-1 versus 10x, and one you get margin called, the other one you just exit out at a 10% loss.
Yeah. I mean, the question, I like I said, and frankly speaking, I've watched you performing over the past few years in this space. I think on balance, you're going to do perfectly well, and you're going to be very rich and famous by the time this is all over. So I don't have any worries about you. And what was really interesting is we did a show a while ago, and I remember you said this, and it really resonated with me, that we had maybe some people that weren't really, how do we say this? They didn't have other people's best intentions at heart when they do public broadcasts and stuff. And I heard anecdotally from you in the past that, a lot of people FOMO, a lot of it talk about wrecked and stuff like that. And I heard from you also that you had personally sort of seen that since we sort of tried to inject a little bit of sanity into the decision-making process around how you're going to risk your money, that we're not hearing that as much of that talk anymore. Would you agree with that?
Yeah. I mean, like, people still definitely make crazy decisions, and they're always going to. Like, you can't, nerf this entire market. But I think
on balance, are we making a difference?
I think so. I think looking at like the viewership of Coinergy, there's more people not only there's more money just staying in the space, because everyone in this room here is not pulling a lot of money out. They're keeping it in their same portfolio. Their portfolio is getting bigger. That helps everyone in the space out, because then the valuation of the space, like if money's not leaving, then the entire space does better. So I think you, especially Brian, have done a great service for the space in terms of long-term value and helping people last more than one season, because that's a big part of about like you want people to have a good experience. If they get wrecked, if they get margin called or they invest in a couple of shitty alts at the top of the fucking parabolic move, they're not coming back again. They're like, man, I gotta get my whatever money I can out of this and screw this whole thing. You know what? This is a scam. It's like you want people to have a good experience and like to use rational judgment, because then they in turn teach their friends, their family. Like I have 3 friends now that all trade because I shared some of the basic fundamentals that you gave me. I was like, it is really simple. You just find a chart that's not parabolic, and then find something you like about it. Like you don't have to be much crazier than that, especially in this market where eventually everything kind of bounces back. It's just the key is don't buy it too high to begin with.
Yeah, it's just that simple, isn't it? It's just that simple. So, all right, awesome. How long have we been going here, guys? And we have a pretty full room. I'm sure somebody's got a question. We've got like Mr. fucking Crypto here. Somebody, I mean, Shane, I'm sure you have 20 questions, but somebody else, does somebody have a question for Alex? I mean, we've got like literally crypto royalty. Jack's wallet, what does that mean?
I tried to meet up with Jax about it the other day, trying to get Ubic on it, but his office hasn't been open all week. I don't know. Jax is it's a mobile wallet that's trying to integrate almost every currency, or they have Shapeshift integration. They announced recently they're going to add like 20 currencies or something. But yeah, people were mad at me. It's like, I thought you were friends with Anthony. How come Ubic's not on that list? Anthony's kind of a dick. I'm sorry. I can't make him add my coin. The funny thing is his brother has a coin now, and that wasn't even on the list. So you know what? His brother's coin's not even getting listed. I don't know what much hope I have. I don't have all the money in the world to bribe him.
Is that what it comes down to? You're fucking taking a swig of Mickey?
Yeah, it's left over from my camping
trip.
People on the internet
are going to be watching this.
Oh, this is recorded, eh? Okay. Let me, harsh my tone a bit then. But
you don't have to worry about this not being a pants optional show, right?
Yeah.
All right, so I'm not quite familiar with the Jax wallet, but I guess that's a potential alternative that other people are using. James, I wouldn't mind chatting with you. It doesn't sound like Alex is too impressed. I do see other guys here ask a question about BIP 148. What the heck are they talking about? Do you know what they're talking about?
I'm sorry, BIP 148. It's one of these 3 things that everyone's talking about. There's SegWit, there's UASF, and then there's BIP 148. I think BIP 148 is the same as UASF. Yeah, it's a user-activated soft fork. So they're trying to get other people to vote on the whole SegWit thing. So like right now, SegWit can only get activated by miners, but people are getting kind of pissed off because the miners clearly don't want to have SegWit on, because a lot of them are getting profits from it not being on. So now, taking it in their own hands, they're doing what's called a user-activated soft fork, which if enough clients or enough nodes, like people other than miners participating on the network, if enough of them signal, they can trigger a fork of the network. And yeah, it is technically a soft fork, but if enough people don't agree to it, it turns into a hard fork. Yeah, if you have like 2 protocols that don't agree with each other. Anyways, yeah, BIP is the Bitcoin Improvement Protocol. So you can go on like the Bitcoin wiki and look through all the old BIPs. Like some of them are multi-sig. That was a big one. Time lock, if you want to like lock your Bitcoin for a certain amount of blocks. These are all, hey, I have an idea of how I want to improve Bitcoin. Here it is, and if enough people sign off on it, the official like core dev team will turn it into a BIP. It can get voted on, and it can get added into the platform. And a lot of times it's just, you know, for the sake of argument, like, oh yeah, I think we should add in BIP 148. Oh yeah, no, BIP 142 is the better version of that. So it's just kind of yeah, it's one of those things that you'll see on an FAQ on the Bitcoin wiki.
And so is there like anywhere you can track how close this thing's getting to the threshold where it'll happen?
The user activated soft fork is a little bit harder. I haven't looked at a chart for that yet. I think it's only at like 10% or something, but like SegWit is doing pretty good. I think it's up to like 40% or 50. It needs to be at 85, I think, to trigger. So it still has a ways to go. But I don't know. I'm hopeful now. Like I think since everyone knows about ASIC boost, it's only a matter of time before they say, you know what, you guys kind of fucked up. Like you either turn down these profits or this version of SegWit fails, and then they're probably already working on a version of SegWit that is compatible with ASIC boost. And maybe they'll release that immediately after this one fails, and then it'll pass. So I'm thinking still in the next year and a half, we're going to see some sort of major software change in Bitcoin.
So, and I'd be curious to ask you, because and I've actually had other people ask me, and frankly, I don't have a hard number. But in your sort of estimation, if you have to pay for electricity, what do you think the average cost is to mine a Bitcoin right now?
Oh, I haven't calculated that in so long because I know they're in profit now, so I don't really care. When the market was bottoming, it was like, okay, what is the price per Bitcoin? But what it is right now, I don't know. There's a number of calculators online, and I think enough miners are getting free power or very, very affordable power. Because apparently, some of these mining firms in the States or in China, sorry, are built on illegal dams, like dams that the government doesn't even know about yet. So they're collecting energy without anyone being aware of it. So at that point, it's like they're collecting their own energy. So I don't know. It's really hard to put a price figure on it now because one, you don't know what the price is for the majority. I think a lot of mining happens in some of the cheapest energy places in the world, like Seattle. Seattle is really cheap. And somewhere in the prairies, it's super cheap because they have like liquid salt solar. But you don't know if people are paying 2 cents a kilowatt or if they're paying 10. Like there's really no way to get bearings on that. And the other part is now we don't know what the best ASICs are that are available because we're so close to what is like consumer grade. So I saw a cell phone today that has a 10 nanometer chip. The transistors are only 10 nanometers. I think the best ASICs that we know about are like, they're not 21. I think they're even less than that. I think they're almost at like 14. So now if there is a better ASIC out there, we're not going to know about it. So they could be getting it for super cheap. Yeah, I can't even comment on a number. It could be $400, could be $600. At this point, it doesn't matter. It's definitely profitable. Everyone is trying to build mining hardware, and maybe that's part of the reason for the price rally. Is maybe Intel is making an ASIC. We don't really know, but we'll probably see them for sale after like the second or third person is ready to sell it.
Why would that boost price?
Because difficulty and price are very correlated. Like if there's profit to be made mining Bitcoin, then there's going to be people incentivized to build ASIC like to be mining Bitcoin. So they're not gonna, you know, buy outdated hardware that's like 10 that's like, you know, 10 months old or 2 years old. They're probably at a point now where they're like, hey, let's build our own chips. That's
so
what
you're saying that the more technology advances and the faster, more powerful these ASIC chips are, that by definition increases the difficulty, which by definition should increase the price?
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a long disputed argument of does difficulty follow price or does price follow difficulty? Because there's a lot of factors driving both up. I'm personally in the boat of like you're going to see people investing in hardware before it's even profit, like they see the return on it because they see the long-term potential of Bitcoin and like, hey, we should be investing in like the best equipment to be doing this. It's kind of like I don't know, building a better electric car or something. You're gonna have having the equipment means you're viable for longer. Because if we do have another down round in Bitcoin, we're gonna find out where the mining price is then. You know, if we got to go back down to 1,200, well, the difficulty is so high that 1,200 maybe is the cost of production for Bitcoin. Yeah, and the other thing too is there's far less Bitcoin being produced. Now they're getting a significant amount of fees for mining because every one of their blocks is full. Yeah, they're doing well. People are bidding. Did you guys see the Ethereum ICO that went on today? Basic attention token sold out in 2 blocks, 2 Ethereum blocks, so like less than 30 seconds.
Okay.
So somebody they were looking at the fees of the transactions that went through because at that point, like everyone's competing to get in the block. Someone spent $3,000 in Ether to get their transaction included, like they butt in line. Is how Vitalik put it. But yeah, like at that point, there is a fee market, and it was literally around, hey, these guys are raising $10 million for their currency. I want to buy it because now it's trading at like already 5x because like everyone who wanted to buy it has to buy from someone else now. Like there's no more available. But I found that really interesting that like there's the same thing on a micro scale happening in Ethereum. Like the block isn't big enough. Yeah, whoever, it's not about who's first, it's about who's in the block. Which yeah, I found really interesting.
Yeah, well, and frankly speaking, I'm too stupid to understand half of what you just said. You guys are so smart, and wow, it's just incredible how you just so casually talk about these incredibly powerful concepts. So yeah, that's really. So do I understand correctly? To participate in this ICO, they had to own Ethereum. And so as a result, it created a bidding war for Ethereum, and people were willing to pay a premium, and that's what that extra fee is that you're talking about?
Well, let's paint an analogy to like the traditional stock market. Like there's an IPO. It's like, hey, they're selling $200 million worth of their stock. If there's $5 million in demand, who gets that $2 million? Well, it's whoever gets it first, right? Well, on the traditional stock market, it's whoever completes the buy orders the fastest. On the Bitcoin and Ethereum network and all the other, it's whoever gets in those first couple blocks. Like I got into an ICO that sold out in 10 minutes. So like there was only a couple blocks that actually had valid transactions in it. Like it was to a point where there only could be, say, like 1,000 orders placed for that currency or for that IPO. There were then, there was a bidding war for those 100 spots or those 1,000 spots, and people were paying like an absurd amount of money just to be one of those spots. It wasn't even about the price of the token. The price of the token was already set. It was just
Well, and that's what
demand.
often happens in the IPO market, in the public market. And the sad part about it is the IPO market in the public market, you could argue that there is pre-mines and people with special influence, you know. And in the stock market, it becomes, you know, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours kind of thing. Do you get the actual paper at the listing price? Usually it opens up and just vaults higher because there's just so much demand, eh? So I can understand that. I do kind of like the democratization of this. So it's just literally whoever's at their keyboard, the moment they announce the ICOs open, whoever hits their key the fastest, they get in on those blocks. That's what you're saying?
Until the block is full, and then it's about which transactions are the most profitable for the miner to include in the block. So it's like, why wouldn't I process this transaction if the guy is going to give me $10,000 when this guy only wants to give me $10? Yeah, he was first, but if I process this guy's transaction, look how much money I get. You know what? Dump that guy. I want this one.
Whoa. So it becomes like a bidding war then.
A bidding war for the bidding war, like, because on the traditional stock market, like it was a thing, like people were buying up real estate closest to the exchange because the ping, like the length of wire was as short as possible for the main server, so their order was more likely to go through. But then they changed it. No matter how everyone within the certain perimeter is getting the same length of cable. So like even if your building is right next door to the exchange, it's just going to be coiled up on the ground because that's the only way they can make it fair. They had no like way to fix it. So they like, you know, everyone's got the same physical limitations and that's the only way they can make it fair. So now it's completely based on who can click the fastest on their traditional stock market. But since, you know, transactions are like this open marketplace in crypto, you know, the blocks are only so big. They now are competing not only to get into the sale, but also to get into the block. Because imagine if two of these...
That must be a pretty automated process though, eh? For it to happen all that quickly. There's no way somebody could like discretionarily decide, okay, I'm going to do yours, but I'm not going to do yours.
Yeah, like I think it happens in Bitcoin too. Like they have a thing called the transaction accelerator. So the only thing that Ver is doing right, like Roger Ver, is that the one pool via BTC, you can bribe their pool to have your transaction pushed to the top of the list. And
so then that creates this sort of bidding war kind of thing, eh?
Yeah, like one of our friends in Vancouver, he was going to be building a Bitcoin mining operation. He ended up backing out of it. But one of the things he said was interesting is like at this point we don't have to pay transaction fees because whenever we'll know that our mining operation will solve a block every hour or a block every day. We'll always include our own transactions because we own that block. We own all the rights to it. We can include no transaction if we want to, or we can only include ours, or you know what? Let's only include the ones with the highest fees. That's
interesting.
Yeah, part of their deal.
And do you ever run into these kind of problems at Ubit?
Not yet.
But could you? And I wanted to ask you, how's that APX deal going?
Pretty good. We have a meeting about it Friday. We're going to set up all the multi-sigs to get the security sorted out properly. I mean,
is there like a hold period or something where kind of like what we talked about with Lisk, where they don't actually get all the capital right away, or did they just get a big check? Merry Christmas.
With Bittrex, we have set up that the only hold period is to make sure that we have like a valid blockchain and Explorer. You know, we're actually like a cryptocurrency. But
I always tell people that story you say about Yobit, how there's coins on there that don't even have blockchains. I love that.
It's a Google sheet at that point.
All right, so a couple other questions here before we let you go. A couple of our people had some questions. Whoever asked about Komodo, KMD, do you feel like you got an answer? Alex wrote here, KMD is a fork of ZEC. Is it really?
It's a fork of one of these anonymous coins.
Yeah, I thought I remember it was spun off from something else. I don't think it was Zcoin.
No, there's Bitcoin Dark, which you could then turn into Komodo, I think.
Yeah.
The thing is, the Bitcoin Dark dev, he's this guy who also, I think, started SuperNet. Like, he's done a number of projects, and all of them have really high hopes, and they never really delivers on anything. And it's really hard to believe, like, a serial coin creator when they say, "Hey, this is now the best thing ever. You should give me
your coin creator." That's what you call them.
Oh yeah, like there's people who definitely have. They're on like their 4th or 5th project. It's like, well, at this point, like you can't blame it on anyone but yourself. Like, and the other question.
It's got a healthy-looking chart, but it does look a bit old here. I wouldn't be surprised to see some consolidation here, but. I think we've done TRI peeps, James. I think we've done pretty well on this thing, haven't we? I seem to remember us making some money on this thing. Yeah.
I'm not saying the guy's broke. I'm just saying don't expect it to do anything too crazy. Or, I mean...
I see Steven, for whatever it's worth, one of our damn sharks. This guy is fucking just a kick-ass fucking trader. Steven right now is long, and he's looking for 2708. Son of a bitch. Bastard. This guy just makes money right, left, and center. It's beautiful to watch him in action. Anyway, so I thought I'd just bring that to the I think we probably have some people on YouTube watching and stuff, right? So
it will say on the corner of your screen, Brian, how many live viewers you have.
Oh, does it? Well, I don't like looking at that because if it's an ugly number, I either get really depressed or really excited. So I don't know.
Can't win either way.
And really, we kind of did. I wanted to do this for our site peeps because Shane earlier tonight was rather upset that we weren't doing a show. And did you see the name of the show, Alex? I don't know whether you were. Whether you're on the site, whenever I talk to people about trading futures, we always talk about broiler chickens.
Oh.
So that's what we called the name of the show tonight. Okay, so we talked about Komodo, and on balance, I was long. I think I was doing like accumulation. I think my average is somewhere in this area here, but you can see the double bottom, higher highs and higher lows, and I mean, until that stops, I don't think the trend is over. But could we see a nice pullback maybe into these tails and stuff for a buying opportunity? That's if I wanted to buy, that's probably this area down in here. Somebody else had some other questions.
Someone's asking about Quark.
Quark, yeah. What's up? Actually, I think I was a buyer of that thing too. James. I buy everything that James buys, and James buys everything that I buy. Oh, Quark. Well, there's a bit of a bottom working there, but what do you think about this thing? And I found it hilarious. Alex, in one sentence, what do you think of Vox?
Oh my God. I fucking hate Vox. It's a niche within a niche. Like, what is it gonna do?
Well, that was so funny. I put a tweet up that I banged out a double up Vox, and Alex's response was, Vox is everything that's wrong with crypto.
It really is.
I don't know, Vox. I mean, I'm still long a wackier coin, so prove him wrong.
I thought it was hilarious though that he tweeted like a half hour before it happened that he wasn't going to get delisted from Poloniex, and then it happened. Like,
ouch.
Like he's just eating his own words at that point. But no, they're not going to produce anything. Don't expect them to be around in like 5 years' time. Like it's so
well, there you go, Vox. If you're watching this show, the gauntlet has been cast.
Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong.
All right. Well, I got a free position on you guys' box, so I don't have any stress. Kind of like Alex and his ETC trade. If it goes belly up, I'm not going to lose any sleep. I'm in a free position, so that makes me happy. And actually, I just want to see how this plays out because I find it real. I find it's a real soap opera-y kind of story. People either love it or they absolutely hate this thing.
Oh, I know guys that are just like, oh, look, it's bottoming. Like yeah, it's the total buy. And then by the time he's done telling everyone it's up like maybe 15 or 20%, he's like, yeah, look how great it is. Meanwhile, he's probably quietly selling in the background, and then dumps even lower. It's like, dude, you're underwater like 4 times on this. Don't tell me you got a 2x on it.
Yeah. Okay, so I apologize. Didn't mean to go off on a tangent there. What's your sort of feeling about this Quark story? Do you know anything about them?
Well, Quark is the first token that we moved over to the Ubiq network.
So this is pretty important. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, Quark's got an interesting story. It's quite the community. I mean, they have a large community. It's about.
I think I'm gonna go buy some more at the market here. What was that? What? I want to support you, man.
No, I don't want to. I don't know. Quark is a hard sell. So I've had a lot of I consult for them. And say, you guys got to do something different here, and they do have some plans coming up, but they still haven't they're still formulating all the paperwork to say this is what we're doing, and then I'm gonna probably sign off, and I'm like, okay, that's better than what you were doing. But essentially, what it is like they're selling coins through referrals, and that's allowing the funding of development for things like debit cards. Like we got Ubiq debit cards, which now you can load it with Ethereum Classic, Ubiq, and any tokens on those 3 networks, and spend it anywhere that accepts.
To do with Quark?
Quark is the one funding it. Like they have 4 developers working on it, and every user that buys the distribution of Quark has one of these debit cards. So they're kind of our beta testers. And they're also paying for it to get developed. It's kind of like a private ICO that is only done through referrals. Like you only can get in if someone who is already in allows you to get in. I don't know. It's
okay, that's interesting.
So I think we're probably gonna have it be an ICO, and we're gonna accelerate the selling to the public. Like we're gonna open it up fully to the public. But I can't really say much more than that. It's just we need to get more developers on. So at that point, we're going to be selling coins faster than the current system allows for. And it's kind of hard to tell you guys to buy that. And then it's like, oh, we're selling it to pay for development of products. But at the same time, it's like there's a certain amount of work that goes into every Quark that's being distributed. Like a lot of Quark goes towards referral mining. So it's kind of like our own little incentivized network, trying to get people into crypto, into the Ubiq ecosystem, and also building up products that help them. So like if the people can get their local, their local grocery store to accept Quark, they can get paid more Quark. I don't know what to tell you. It's definitely getting us a lot of users around the world. We have a serious Russian community now because of Quark, and people in Vietnam, a lot of European people, like mainly in Spain, because that's where Quark is based out of. So it's give it a little bit of time. Quark is a long-term play, like a really long-term play. But a lot of people have been buying coins for more than what you're seeing on the market. It's just, some are given coins for free because they were for their friends. So it's that's where the dumping comes from.
Your coins are going to be subject to these silly pump groups?
I think it's totally possible. Yeah, I mean, the pump groups look for
out on this. To me, when these pump groups see that, they're just gonna, if the price goes down too far, they're just gonna totally play it.
Yeah,
totally
almost 17 million. Oh yeah. Okay, so
Is that a correct number or is that incorrect?
No, it changed recently when they went to a UBIC token. All the numbering changed because the way CoinMarketCap deals with like total supply or available supply is if it's not in a contract, like when it's on a smart contract platform like Ethereum, they don't count it towards total supply. So you look at the front page of CoinMarketCap where places like CoinGP and a lot of other services pull their data. You'll see, let's look at a competitor for a second, Expanse. They have 7.2 million Expanse out right now, but the actual amount of Expanse that exists is closer to like 15 million. It's almost double that. But
yeah, like when I see this page here, is this what you're talking about? The total supply versus the amount circulating? Is that what you're talking about?
yes, that's correct. So like it's definitely on that second page, but on the initial page, you don't see what the total supply is because it's in a smart contract.
So the other 235 million of these Quark are in a smart contract?
Yeah, they're locked up in a multi-sig, but they're paid out at a set rate. So like that rate has been like programmed into the contract that it only distributes a little bit at a time. There's only 68,000 coins being quote unquote created every day. And it's not done through some auto.
And that's like constant supply hitting the market that wants to get liquidated into cash?
Not necessarily. Like it's going out to people who are either getting paid referrals or they're buying it for the sake of holding it. I think they actually have.
There are people that actually do that? Sorry.
So the distribution actually looks a lot like the Bitcoin chart where it's like this curve. So I think it was 68,000. Now they've halved it. It's like at 34. It's probably going to halve in the next year again. And the idea is that it's slowly being distributed, and eventually it will get to the 250 million mark. And that's all done through a smart contract. It's kind of like, the same way like Bitcoin is released at a set rate every day based on quote unquote work. It's just this work isn't for security, it's for referrals. That's why I say it's referral mining. So Quark is kind of a unique beast. I haven't really seen, well, there's maybe like 2 other coins that are kind of similar where it's based on referrals.
What was that other one you said? Expanse? That's similar to this?
No, Expanse is just the example I'm using for the data that you're seeing. Like when you see 17,000, there's actually like the total supply is going to be 250 million. That's why I say it's a long-term play because there's still a lot of coins to be distributed.
Yeah.
We're probably going to do an ICO though and change that whole model. We'll see. We're making those.
I do like the idea. Like you can see, structurally, this thing is making higher highs and higher lows. So it looks to me, and you can see the W right here.
Mm-hmm.
So it does look to me like somebody's trying to establish a floor in here. But wicks and tails like to be eaten, eh? This is such a good example of that right here. So it's interesting. I wonder what caused this thing to stop going down right there. Right? Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
There's some sort of importance to this level right here.
I don't know if they still have the old chart for. No, they don't. Because Quark used to be called SAR, S-A-R, but that ticker doesn't exist anymore. Same with the JBS data, and it was leveling off around the same area too. Like I think it was like 1,500.
I mean,
There's a couple.
See the base, right? This thing's trying to put in a base here, so and you can see the moving averages are trying to turn back up. So I can understand, James. I think James is the one who asked about this, wasn't it? I mean, he's a pretty sharp guy, man. This guy's he's getting his dad to make money trading crypto. You're good when you can get your old man to fucking make money trading crypto. So I can understand why James would be interested in this. Thank you for the request, James. That's a really interesting little story there.
Yeah, and with regards to dealing with MasterCard and Visa, it was funny. Luke was at a conference in Nigeria just after I was in Toronto, and he was speaking on a panel with someone from MasterCard, and like, yeah, oh yeah, I have prepaid Visa cards, and like the MasterCard lady had like no idea what she was talking about. Oh yeah, you know, like we have a couple more years before we're seeing this technology implemented. And then immediately he's like, well, I have a beta right now of using one of your competitors that has a, you know, token-backed debit cards. And she was just kind of stammering after that. Meanwhile, Luke's not a very good public speaker, but at that point he was just kind of like, he was sticking his chest out a little bit. He was feeling a lot better. Like, nobody really understands what's going on, but we're starting to realize we have a far better idea of what is going on compared to even like traditional finance. We're in uncharted waters, and there's a lot of people who still have a lot to learn. Like I said, I'm consulting a hedge fund next week, and it amazes me that they need to have any help at all. I'm like, can't you guys just like look at a chart and do the same thing that you're doing, Brian? Like, why do you need to know any of the fundamentals at this point? They all go up.
Well, yeah, but I mean, here's the thing, right? Is Wall Street needs to be able to tell a colorful, very technical story, right? Which means that they need to understand how this actually works. Mm-hmm. So, you know, I have blind faith in crypto and have been in the space believing in this story, and it took me a while for me to come to my own conclusions. But to convince people to bring, you know, it's really interesting. I would have liked to have seen how much distribution of that Ethereum ICO and that $120 million that they raised was actually like institutional money versus just you know, us crypto kids. And then I would also say that there is sort of that tech savvy part of the hedge funds and investing industry, you know, out of Silicon Valley, probably Gates and all his crowd and stuff. This is a tough, you know, I'll be honest with you, you know, old, gnarly, stupid Brian, right? This is a tough thing to really wrap your head around how the mechanics of the blockchain really works. And you know, you've been talking blockchain for so long, and it's part of your sort of almost your DNA, Alex, that I don't even think you realize that this is pretty heady stuff. It's tough to wrap your head around this, especially if you come from like an analog world. It's almost like, you know, like magic internet monies. How does this shit even work? You know. Now, the irony of making money from trading is I don't necessarily need to know how this works. I just need to follow sentiment. And ironically enough, I just need to listen to smart people like you, which sort of keep me, you know, honest and pointed in good story directions versus bad story directions. And you're helping me to learn. But, you know, I would even say probably a good quarter, maybe even a third of the stuff that you try, that you actually probably thought was fairly simple, fairly basic. To me, it's just right over my head, right? And I have to, it's going to take me a while just to process what you've actually just said tonight. So don't discount yourself. And actually, I saw this in Vancouver to a certain degree, because you're so familiar with this space, because it's almost like you take it for granted, like chatting with in the Slack groups and all our community, everybody knows the same language and you all sort of know the same people. After a while, you kind of sort of poo-poo this, right? But to an outsider, this is like, holy shit, what the fuck are these guys doing? I mean, and just understanding the logic behind it. But the interesting thing is you're so smart that you can actually break this stuff apart and explain it to the public in a very understandable way. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think you're going to be a big player in this space down the road. And I don't even think you give yourself credit for how smart you are. But anyway, that's just my 2 cents. That's Dad talking. Sorry. Whoops. Didn't mean for that to get in there. All right.
No,
Well, we've been going at this for a few hours, or at least a couple hours. What do you think, guys? Should we call it a night? I hope you guys enjoyed this. I did teach a class today and some tutorials, so I am kind of talked out. But I had a lot of fun, and I really appreciate picking your brain, Alex. I kind of missed chatting with you. Hopefully in the coming weeks, Coinergy Show can get back on track. And actually, guys, it's a really special treat, all the people in the lounge here and people on YouTube, to actually have somebody like Alex just where we can just, you know, pick his brain. I mean, fucking, we're so lucky. So thanks so much, dude. I really appreciate it.
yeah, no problem. Shoot me an invite again sometime. This was fun.
Yeah, I think we had a lot of fun. What do you think, guys? Can somebody come off mute and just Shane, you gotta have something to say here.
Yeah, dude. Come back, Alex, on the Broiler Chicken Show again, man.
Oh yeah, I'll try and have some chickens in the house for next time. You know, even some fresh eggs.
Yeah, it'd be really cool. You know, Brian does a lot of the technical analysis as well, and then listening to you, some of the fundamentals behind some of the coins, it's like, wow, man, it's really interesting stories you're telling. So thanks a lot, man. Yeah,
isn't it cool to be able to look at the charts like that ETC, for example, and Alex can inject a fundamental driver, and then we pull up the chart and we see that technically the trade's setting up. And that's really what rational analysis is supposed to be, right? So yeah, you're absolutely right, Shane. It's Alex and I actually, we work really well in that regard, sort of a yin and yang kind of thing. So yeah, great observation.
Brian's always good to keep me grounded, because sometimes I feel like we could be all camping in water GPs, but then he's there to say, "Oh, you know, Alex, there's a chance this might not be real."
Oh no.
But
man, that was funny, eh?
Jeez, that's a good example.
Years now.
Man, it's a good example of my enthusiasm getting away from me, and needing you know, kind of a rational actor, someone who's seen it before. And like I said, like, even though I didn't like put full effort into the course, I definitely did learn a lot. It was just, you know, I was learning so much outside of there too. It was just kind of like I was still watching those shows, and I was like kind of doing it at my own pace and also like researching at the same time. I even do it now. Like, I'm doing 2 things at once a lot of the time. It's just, that's just how I operate. So it's hard for me to sit in a class and not jump around a little bit. But
you know, the way I kind of look at a guy like you, Alex, is there was you know, Malcolm in the Middle story where the Malcolm in the Middle guy goes, it's like I have these wheels constantly turning my head, and he's talking to another one of the kids. It was like a super genius, and the super genius kid, the other kid goes, "Yeah, now you think that's tough? Multiply that by 10." And that's sort of the way I think your brain works. Is you actually operate at a little bit different speed than me. And you're like, I see you multitasking all the time. You probably got like about 4 or 5 different conversations going right now here.
I'm in the Ubix Slack, and someone gave me one of these spinner things now to kind of.
Oh, do you have did you guys ever get that biometric thing going? Wasn't that sort of a big thing that you were going to do? Some sort of clicker or something like that?
Yeah, the universal key fob. So that's yeah, we have someone who's privately going to fund it, because right now there's actually 3 products, and Ubic is one of them, and then that key fob is the other one, and then there's kind of a Slack alternative that's like fully encrypted, and the 3 of those together are going to be like this perfect suite of like business app.
Cool.
So we're actually looking either at someone in the softwood lumber industry, or in the dairy industry might be the initial purchaser of these 3 things together. It's just somebody's got to kind of fund some of the engineering to make them all work and do the debug. So we're just trying to
Well,
find.
you should probably. Are you talking with like Industry Canada and stuff like that, right? I think if anything, you got to get the feds on board, and then you know you'll really see the wheels start turning.
Oh yeah, like I got to follow up on a couple of like an innovation grant. There's definitely government money out there, and they want to work.
They love you, man. You're like total poster child, man.
I got that the other day. It's like, oh, how Canadian can you get? Like, look at this guy. It's like he's going camping up north this weekend. What more do you want from him? So yeah, no,
I can see it. You, of course, you went camping with a canoe, right?
Oh yeah, no, it was a full-fledged. Like we did a portage. I wore the canoe on my head.
Of course.
Yeah. So no, like I definitely I think I fit the role well. This Canadian farm boy who just wants to, I don't know, make
just do good. That's all. Just do good, right?
Yeah, it's not that I want to make everyone else's life better. It's that making my own life better seems to be helping a lot of other people at the same time. So I mean, it's just it's interesting yin and yang. Like I just want to help the farming community out, and in turn that helps all Canadians. So I mean, eventually we'll get there.
All right. Well, on that note, guys, I had a great time tonight. This was a lot of fun. Thank you all for participating in the lounge. Thank you, of course, Alex. This is Brian Beamish from therationalinvestor.co. Thank you, Shane, for being sort of my co-host here, I think. And this was the Broiler Chicken Show, all things crypto, our inaugural show. And who knows, let's have some fun. And I hope you guys really enjoyed this show. So thanks so much, everybody. Have yourselves a great evening. All the best. Bye for now.